Alright, today's topic is a tough one, but I feel like it's something that we need to talk about. I feel like it's been overdue a discussion on this channel given my content since starting this channel. Reports are circulating that F1 Manager 2025 has been cancelled by Frontier, and they're planning to end their licensing deal with F1 earlier than expected. Now, if you're like me, this news hits quite hard. These games have brought something unique to the table for motorsport fans, and while the series has been relatively short-lived, it had so much potential. So let's break this down. What exactly does this cancellation mean? Why might it have happened? And most importantly, where do we go from here? First, let's address the big question. Why cancel the game at all? Well, based on what's been reported, the likely reasons come down to poor sales and development costs. Frontier isn't just paying for the game's production, they're also shelling out a significant amount for the F1 license. And if the sales numbers for F1 Manager 2024 didn't meet expectations, that's a big red flag for the company. It's no secret that the game industry is expensive, and when you're working with a high-profile license like Formula 1, the stakes are even higher. Now let's look at F1 Manager 24 for a second. Many fans, myself included, agree it's the best entry in the series so far. But if you think about the timing of the final content update for 24, it raises some questions. That update was absolutely packed with new features, and it was completely free. At the time, it seemed like an incredible gesture to the fans, but in hindsight, could this have been a sign? Maybe this content was originally intended for F1 Manager 2025, but when Frontier made the decision to cancel, they chose to release it early. If that's the case, it's bittersweet. Great content, but potentially at the cost of the series' future. So where does that leave us? If F1 Manager 25 is officially off the table, there are a few possible scenarios I can see for what happens next. The first possibility is that Frontier might continue supporting F1 Manager 24, just with yearly updates instead of releasing full new games. Imagine they release a 2025 season DLC, so updated rosters, liveries, maybe even some small gameplay tweaks. This approach isn't uncommon in gaming, especially when yearly releases become unsustainable. We've seen it actually happen recently with EA's WRC, where they're on a 4-year release plan where they're releasing each season as DLC up until I think 2027 will be the new game, if they do indeed put out a new game. This would allow Frontier to keep the game alive without the massive cost of creating a new title from scratch. However, this option does have its limitations. Without significant upgrades to gameplay or new features, it definitely risks losing player interest over time. It also raises the question of how long Frontier could maintain this model. If sales continue to underperform, even smaller updates might not be enough to justify the F1 license cost. Now here's where things could get interesting for me. Option 2, what if Frontier decides to move away from the official F1 license entirely? They could use the engine they've already built for F1 Manager to create a brand new motorsport management game in a fictional universe. Think of something like Motorsport Manager, but on a larger scale. They could create their own teams, drivers, and circuits, give them complete creative freedom, no license fees, meaning less financial pressure, and it would give them the time and the resources to polish the game without the constraints of a yearly release schedule and of a license. For PC players, this could be a goldmine. Modern communities would likely step in to recreate official F1 seasons, just like they did with Motorsport Manager, just like I did with Motorsport Manager 3. And unlike Motorsport Manager, this game could potentially launch on all consoles the same way F1 Manager has, making it accessible to a much wider audience. That was something we never really saw with Motorsport Manager. Obviously, we got the PC game, the mobile games, and they ported the mobile game to Switch, but we never got a fully fledged console release the way that F1 Manager has. But there are risks here too. The official F1 license is a huge draw for fans. Without it, would enough people buy into a fictional motorsport world? There's no guarantee the sales would be any better than what Frontier has already struggled with. And the third and most depressing possibility is that this is the end. No more F1 Manager, no spin-offs, nothing. This would be A massive loss for motorsport gaming, in my opinion. The F1 Manager series has always had the potential to coexist with EA's F1 games, much like how Football Manager thrives alongside EAFC. They're two completely different experiences catering to different audiences. But finding that niche isn't easy. Football management games have had decades of history and a loyal fan base. Frontier was just starting to carve out its space with F1 Manager, I think, and now it might be over before it really got the chance to grow. So what happens now? Honestly, it's hard to say. Frontier could pivot to smaller updates, go in a completely new direction with a fictional motorsport game, or abandon the concept altogether. As a fan, I truly hope that this isn't the end. The F1 Manager games brought something unique to motorsport gaming, I think. A chance to dive deep into the strategy and decision making that goes on behind the scenes. And with F1 Manager 24 being such a strong entry, it's a shame to see the series end on this note. But let's keep our fingers crossed, whether it's through DLC, a new game, or even another developer picking up the torch. I'd like to believe there's still a future for F1 management games. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Frontier should do next? And would you be interested in another new fictional motorsport game like Motorsport Manager? Or does the F1 license make or break it for you? Until next time, stay safe. I'll catch you in the next one.